The state of Veracruz, located along the eastern Gulf Coast of the Mexican Republic, shares common borders with the states of Tamaulipas, to the north, Oaxaca and Chiapas, to the south, Tabasco, to the southeast, and Puebla, Hidalgo, and San Luis Potosí, on the west. Veracruz also shares about 430 miles, 690 kilometers, of its eastern boundary with the Gulf of Mexico. Totonacs. By the time the Spaniards arrived on the Gulf Coast of Mexico in 1519, the Totonac Indians occupied some 50 towns in what is now central Veracruz. Boasting a population of 250,000 people, the Totonacs spoke 4 primary dialects. Their capital, Popoluca, located 5 miles inland from the present city of Veracruz, had a population of about 25,000. The Aztec. During the 15th century and the early years of the 16th century, the mighty Aztec Empire, ruled by the Mexica Indians from their capital city Tenochtitlan, began a concerted effort to subdue and incorporate the rich coastal areas of the Gulf Coast into their domain. Eventually, Veracruz, along with portions of the neighboring states, would make up parts of 7 Aztec provinces. After their conquest by the Mexica ruler Axayacatl in 1480, the Totonacs were incorporated into the Aztec provinces of Sempoalan, Misantla, and Jalapa. These areas, with an abundance of water and fertile land, were richly endowed with a wide array of vegetation and crops, including cedars, fruits, cotton, cacao, maize, beans, and squashes. In pre-Hispanic times, cotton was a very significant crop, which the Totonacs used to make cotton armor. As tribute to their Aztec masters, the Totonacs sent cloth, clothing, maize, foodstuffs, honey and wax to Tenochtitlan. The province of Sempoalan, and its associated Totonac towns and fortifications, could mobilize up to 50,000 warriors at a time. The natives of Sempoalan, incited by the neighboring Tlaxcalans, who remained an independent enclave within the Aztec Empire, continuously rebelled against the Mexica. Even the last Mexica Emperor Moctezuma II spent the early years of his reign leading campaigns against the Indians of Veracruz. Moctezuma began his reign in 1502 and stayed in power until 1520. The Aztec province of Jalapa, also inhabited by Totonac Indians, was only added to the Mexica domain by Moctezuma II in the years preceding the Spanish contact. Jalapa stood along a major route between the coast and Tenochtitlan and was rich agricultural territory, with maize and chilies as its prominent crops. This route would become very significant with the arrival of the Spaniards in 1519. The city of Jalapa is now the capital of Veracruz. The Huasteco Indians, also known as Totonac, were one of the few indigenous groups in Veracruz who resisted Spanish control after the fall of Tenochtitlan. They are considered the northernmost extension of the Mayan language family in Mexico. Scholars believe that the Huastecos arrived in the Veracruz region around 3,500 years ago and shared the area with Nawa, Tepehua, and Otomi peoples by the time of the Spanish arrival. The Huastecs were organized into small feudal states governed by rulers with absolute authority over their subjects. Today, the Huasteco people inhabit various municipios in northern Veracruz, northern Puebla, eastern Hidalgo, southeastern San Luis Potosí, and southern Tamaulipas. The conquest of the Huasteco Indians took place between 1522 and 1526. Unlike their Totonac neighbors, the Huastecos did not cooperate with the Spaniards upon their arrival. In 1520, they even wiped out a small Spanish settlement in their territory. Hernán Cortés, after taking control of Tenochtitlan, led a large force to conquer the Huasteco territory. Despite facing resistance, Cortés defeated the Huastecos and established the Villa de San Esteban in 1522. Subsequent revolts in 1523 and 1525-26 were brutally suppressed. Despite these conflicts, the Huastecos have preserved their traditional culture and language, influencing Mexican folklore with their music and dance. The Huasteca region in northeastern Mexico, once home to the Huastec Indians during the Mesoamerican period, is now a diverse and agriculturally rich area with ample water supply from river systems flowing to the Gulf of Mexico. Geographically, it stretches from the Sierra Madre Oriental to the Gulf, bordered by the Sierra de Tamaulipas in the north and the Cazones River in the south. It covers parts of Tamaulipas, San Luis Potosí, Querétaro, Hidalgo, Veracruz, Puebla, and a small portion of Guanajuato. While the Huastecos and Nahuatl still inhabit some areas, mestizo populations have largely replaced them during the Spanish colonial period. Southern Veracruz is considered a distinct region within the state, primarily inhabited by the Popoluca and Nawa ethnic groups, along with some Zapotec, Soque, Mixtecs, and Mazatecs. The Popoluca Indians reside in the southeastern region of Veracruz, near the border with Tabasco state. They identify themselves as a Huamshuc, which translates to God of Corn. The term Popoluca has its roots in the Nahuatl language and was originally used to describe foreign peoples, specifically those who do not speak their language. All four Popoluca groups speak different languages that are not mutually intelligible, and these languages are part of the Mixoquian family. Culturally and linguistically, they share similarities with the Mix and Soque Indians from the neighboring regions of Chiapas and Oaxaca. Traditionally, the Popoluca have been involved in agriculture, cultivating a diverse range of crops such as corn, beans, and rice. The Otomi people, known as Nu or HN Nu, are part of the 7th most common language group in Mexico. They currently reside in various regions across the states of Hidalgo, Mexico, Puebla, Tlaxcala, Veracruz, Querétaro, and Michoacán. The Otomi community is situated in the northern area of Veracruz and once held significant influence and status in east-central Mexico. However, the emergence of the Aztec Empire led to a decline in the Otomi population during the 14th century. The Nu language is classified under the Otopamian language family, which is a subset of the extensive Otomanguean linguistic group. Studies suggest that the Otomi language diverged from the original Otomanguean language approximately 6,500 years ago. The Tepehua Indians inhabit two distinct regions, one extending from Huetla in Hidalgo northwestward through Tlacachilco in Veracruz, where they are surrounded by Otomi and mestizo settlements, and a U-shaped area at lower elevations to the northeast of Pantepec, Veracruz, where they are surrounded by Totonac and Otomi settlements. These areas mark the southern boundary of the Huasteca region. The name Tepehua is thought to have originated from either of the Nawa words Tepetl, mountain, or Uyiltepetl, town dweller. The Tepehua people still practice religious beliefs that have deep roots in their pre-Hispanic heritage. The geographical isolation of the Tepehua territory is believed to have hindered evangelization efforts during the colonial period. Present-day Tepehua individuals are mainly involved in agricultural activities, focusing on the cultivation of maize, beans, mountain chili, tomatoes, lentils, onions, garlic, and sesame. Nahuatl is the most widely spoken language in the Mexican Republic. Due to successive migrations of people from different cultures over many centuries, some Nawa languages in Veracruz and neighboring states are mutually unintelligible. Research suggests that the earliest Nawa speakers arrived in the area around the 12th century, following the fall of Tula. Furthermore, Nahuatl was the language of the Aztec conquerors who ruled the region for several decades before the Spaniards arrived. Consequently, the Nawa speakers in Veracruz are divided into 4 distinct groups residing in different parts of the state. The Nawas of Huasteca, whose region extends from northern Veracruz into eastern Hidalgo and southeastern San Luis Potosí. The Nawas of Totonacs, which spans both Veracruz and the Sierra Norte de Puebla region of Puebla state. This area is home to Nahuatl speakers, as well as Totonac, Tepehua, and Otomi speakers. The Nawas of the Sierra de Zongolica, located in the Grandes Montañas of the west-central region of Veracruz. This area consists of 12 municipios, and the Nahuatl speakers here use the Orizaba dialect. In 1991, the number of Orizaba dialect speakers across all states was 120,000. The Nawas of southern Veracruz, where Nahuatl speakers reside in certain parts of the southern region of Veracruz, characterized by lowland plains and volcanic hills, bordering the western part of the state of Tabasco.